Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Am I a silver stacker? Really? Well, let's explore. That is the question. A little introspective look, a little bit of self-diagnosis about what my condition is, whether I'm a stacker or maybe just a fancy collector of silver-related objects, and gold too. But silver stacking is sort of an animal of its own that I think in many ways is different than gold. Because yes, you can stack gold, mostly gold coins. Usually the gold bars come in assay packaging and kind of make it difficult to actually stack it. And that is really what stacking is about. It's literally about piling up silver, whether it be coins, rounds, or bars, in a manner that causes them to really increase in height. That is what stacking is about in the most general and literal sense. And so the question remains, am I a silver stacker, really? One could make an inference that based off of my recent video where I unboxed these 3 silver bars and these 2 silver bars, that I could be a silver stacker. That is the largest silver unboxing that I've ever done on this channel in terms of number of ounces are concerned. The most ever. And that flies in the face of what my goals have been for this year. And in reality, for the last 3 years or so, actually 4 years, I've been focusing much more on gold. And I continue to do that to a degree, but does that take away my status as a silver stacker? Now, I do love to collect different silver objects, different designs. In fact, these bars here that I purchased, and you'll see in that unboxing video, which I'll post a link at the end screen of this video too, I bought these inspired by another member of the community, a Savage Stacker, because of the design of these bars. Beautifully designed pieces. But I got 3 of them. I only really needed 1 to kind of look at, but I decided to get 3. And, the other thing is the attractiveness of these bars, also inspired by a member of the community, Silver Heist. And these are beautiful bars, and they have but they're smaller, they're thicker, and really meant to stack on top of each other. I've got them in these plastic things now, but you get the idea. But before I did that video, would I be considered a silver stacker? I don't know. It just depends on how you define it. What is the definition of a silver stacker as opposed to being a collector? I believe those 2 worlds do mix, and I believe that in a sense I'm probably a silver collector or a coin collector or a silver bar collector in some cases, first and foremost, and by association with accumulating silver products, whether it be in coin, round, or bar form, I am a stacker by association. And so the question is am I really a silver stacker? And I would say the answer is a solid yes. I've accumulated quite a number of bars. In fact, some of you, if you search on my videos on this channel for tower, silver tower, you will see examples of me having a little bit of fun with the silver bars mainly, but also some other silver pieces. And I literally stack them up for you in a silver tower form. And those are some older videos, but they're quite fun. And I thought about maybe updating that video sometime soon, especially with some of these more recent purchases. So the question is that, if you accumulate silver products of any particular form or variety, I believe that makes you a stacker by default. Now, there are some who will just buy Silver Eagles, or perhaps the Silver Libertad here, and they will buy these in various different numbers repeatedly, time and time again, and they don't really care what's on these pieces as far as the design is concerned, because it's all about the silver. First and foremost, that is the primary motivator for accumulation. It doesn't matter if it's type 1 or type 2 Silver Eagles, they are going to accumulate these things no matter what the design is. It's about liquidity, and it's about preserving your wealth and recognizability. And of course, the American Silver Eagle is the most popular coin to stack. It's the most popular piece of silver to stack. And more of these are minted each year than I think any other coin, a bullion coin, in the entire world. The Silver Eagles, quite in demand, and a integral part of people's stacks. And so therefore, people can take that into account and buy them because of their recognizability, but not necessarily because of their collectability. They may not care about mint marks. They may not care about the other aspects that many of us other folks that do collect or accumulate were to consider. To show how long I've been stacking, this is a loaf bar that was purchased quite some time ago. Engelhard is the manufacturer, and it is a lovely bar. It does certainly add a little bit of a premium because, well, it is Engelhard, and it's a company that's not in business anymore. But I bought it because I thought it looked cool and bought several of these for that reason. And but nonetheless, as collectors of bars like this that were really meant just to stack, you know, it widens the range of different styles that can be collected and accumulated, and that's what it's about. It's about enjoyment. The enjoyment factor of accumulating is quite an attractive option to stack. Now, as a collector, it's tougher to want to get rid of a bar like this because it's just so cool looking. And if you need to liquidate, there's somewhat of an emotional attachment to it that transcends just a number of ounces you may have. That, and alone in itself, as far as being a pure stacker, is something that is also an emotional attachment to silver, insofar as that silver can be emotional in terms of, well, I've accumulated this many ounces. Let's say I've accumulated 500 ounces of silver, and I want to keep that as long as I can. And just the number alone can provide that emotional attachment. And so that doesn't make us much different than the collector out there if you're a hardcore stacker as opposed to a collector, because you live and die by the ounces that you hold. And really, that's not healthy. And really, as a collector, it's not healthy to want to keep these, or where you don't want to sell these things, or don't need to sell them. If you don't need to sell them, that's great, but it can be such a motivating factor that you won't let them go at any cost, and that's not. It may not be healthy. Of course, I'm not really one to speak on that kind of matter because I had an opportunity to sell another piece of bullion that went sky high in price, but because I'm a collector, I didn't want to get rid of it. It was the only one I had. It's a rhodium bar that got up to almost $30,000 an ounce, but I held on to it through those highs, and now it's dipped way down to almost half that price now. Nonetheless, sometimes there's cases and on occasion where you may not need to sell, and it's always good to hold on to it. But whenever you have silver, it's there to provide that insurance policy for you in terms of stacking and collecting. But mostly for stacking. You're collecting it, you should kind of consider that type of silver a separate entity. I don't do that as a collector, but I believe that I am a stacker still. Now, when you do collect, you will often buy silver pieces for above spot price, considerably above the normal for spot price for some pieces. And this isn't the case with Eagles these days. That is certainly the case, but there can be other collectible silver out there where that is the case. Silver coins, such as you see here, this is a peace dollar, and it carries a slight premium to it because it is somewhat collectible. Even though it's kind of a constitutional silver, these silver dollars do tend to have a little bit more of a premium. You are certainly aware of the 2021 Morgan and Peace dollars. Well, those are collector coins, and that's it. They are not bullion whatsoever. This could arguably be considered a better bullion, akin to sort of a what you would see with some of these limited mintage better bullion pieces that are relatively high mintage pieces, but they do carry a premium to go along with it. And that is something that you should take into account whenever you do buy. I'm going to show you an example here of several of those that would be considered stacker pieces as well as collectible pieces. And that would be things like the Kookaburra. The Kookaburra is a coin that is minted every year. It's considered bullion, but it's a better bullion, and it has a relatively limited mintage, and so it's collector bullion. It's kind of probably the most the accurate description of these things, so that you can be a collector and a holder of bullion as well. Another example may be, to a lesser extent, the funnel web spider coin minted in 2015. These are essentially of a lesser grade, a lower premium, but they don't make these anymore, and so therefore it's kind of a one-off year, and so that is a kind of a one-and-done, forgotten type of deal, and that's the funnel web spider. Other examples of better bullion pieces out there may be the Lunar Series. You often see the Lunar Series out there in silver and gold. These are considered a better bullion as well, and collector pieces. They tend to do fairly well in the secondary market depending on the type and the mintage. But yes, indeed, that is collector bullion. Stackers hold these, and they accumulate these. And I think it's probably not uncommon to think that, you know, when you have a lower premium, a bullion piece, such as this coin here, the Bounty, which is quite a beautiful piece, I must admit here, or a higher premium piece that is definitely considered a collector coin, but has the purity of a bullion coin, the 4/9 fine purity. This is the allegories from the Germanium Mint. When you have pieces like this in your collection, it just broadens it up. You pay a higher premium for them, but it's easier, much easier to make the connection from a stacker to from a collector to a stacker than from a stacker to a collector. To make that transition from a collector to a stacker is easier to do than the other way around, in my view. However, if stacking enough and long enough, I believe these stackers typically do gradually grow into collectors, at least to some degree. And I know I have seen it among several members here in the community have talked about, and who I thought were just pure stackers, and they're accumulating pieces of different styles and different designs and enjoying it. To me, I think that's great. But again, going back to how that translates, if you need to sell, you don't want to get too attached to your stack. And if you're a collector, you don't want to get too attached to your collection. But you know, that is not always easy to do, as I've mentioned before. There's another example. And then we have the Ukrainian piece here. Quite beautiful. But indeed, probably something that's not very commonly seen. So therefore, they typically have a higher premium. And whenever you need to sell these kind of pieces, it may be difficult to sell them because they're rare enough or just not recognized enough. So you have to widen your search. But nonetheless, it's about the enjoyment factor as well in accumulating pieces like this. Silver is quite a unique metal. It's unique in so much that it can be shaped and have a variety of different finishes on it that can definitely give you a great variety of looks and designs and features, such as on this coin here from Ghana, which is actually a very rare coin. It was an error. It's just supposed to be 5 cedis, but it's 100 cedis there. It is the African leopard. So there you have it. So hope you enjoyed this video. What are your thoughts? Are you a stacker? Are you a collector? Am I a stacker? Am I really a stacker? I think the answer is yes. But of you that have been following me for a while, what are your thoughts? You know I'm a collector first and foremost, but do you think that I'm a stacker as well? I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.